Joe's Astrology, and this is the birth chart for David Schwimmer. He was the television show Friends star, and we don't have the birth time for him, so he's a Scorpio sun, and the moon here in this chart is at 29 degrees, so we don't know if he's a Gemini or a Cancer. My guess is that he's a Cancer. And I could see him being a Gemini moon as well, being an actor, someone who can change roles, change faces at will. That's a skill that an actor would have. So can't really say if he is a Cancer moon or a Gemini moon. He has his Jupiter in Leo though, and Jupiter in Leo would definitely be somebody who, in a positive, I would say, in a positive expression, uses that on uses the acting platform in a positive way, or theater. Many times we see Jupiter in Leo express itself in a negative way, where we have Jupiter expanding the self, expanding self-expression, expanding the will, expanding the desire to do what one wants, despite what anyone else, despite the consideration of anyone else. So I do think Jupiter in Leo, that is a very positive expression of that placement there, being an actor and actress. And with that being said, we see there's a trine between Mercury in Sagittarius and Jupiter in Leo. And that Mercury could be in Scorpio, but it's still making a trine. So I think that gives more credibility to what I've been saying about the Jupiter in Leo. It's kind of like a mitigating factor there to have Mercury there in a trine, an easy aspect with the Jupiter. We think of Mercury as being the conscious mind, and Jupiter the superconscious mind, and with a trine there's an easy flowing blend between the two. And Jupiter does esoterically rule Aquarius. So that could be another thing to look at when we see Jupiter in Leo. It's not really traditionally in a fall or it's I forget the word that they use. Begins with a D. It'll come to me. So Jupiter in Aquarius would be esoterically a better placement for Jupiter. Let's take a look at some other things here. Back to this Sun in Scorpio. He has a South node in Scorpio at 16 degrees. So he has the South node with Neptune and the Sun. So there is an indication of if there's an indication of feeling stuck or feeling held back. Now, he was a successful television star on Friends, and I've seen him do maybe a couple movies. I don't know that much about him after that, but I'm sure there would be, if you talk to him or if you look at his career, look at his bio, there would be some indication, some activity of him feeling stuck in his life. Now, he does have Venus with the Sun there, and you can see that's more of him being that Leo person, that the sun, the combination of the Sun and Venus, a person that somebody would see as likable. He might have a very cheery personality, a happy-go-lucky personality, very good-looking. And then, of course, Neptune there on the South Node. The coming into life here with the acting ability, the great imagination with Neptune there on the South Node. The ruler of that Scorpio is Pluto and Mars, and we see as Pluto and Mars in a balsamic phase, and that's when if Mars was here where Uranus is, the 22 degrees, as the planet goes around the wheel, starts as a new phase and comes around to full phase, and then back to the balsamic phase here, and that is also indicating someone. We see the ruler of this Scorpio coming back to this is someone who's with these energies would have a good imagination, good creativity, also would be finishing things up in the life. So coming into life as early on as being a part of this big television hit Friends, something that is possibly culminating from previous lives. Okay, we see as Uranus at 22 degrees and Saturn at 23 degrees. So we really want to look at this Uranus because the show Friends, as I talked about in the other analysis I did of Jennifer Aniston, how she had so much Uranus and Aquarius, and how I correlated that with the show Friends because Aquarius and Uranus can correlate with Friends. And here he has it in an exact opposition to Saturn, the planet of work and career. And of course, it's in the sign of Pisces that's ruled by Neptune, where we have the acting and the theater. And of course, as we go a little deeper, there's a trine to Neptune there with that Saturn and a sextile with that Uranus. So looking at the aspects with Uranus, this planet that rules Friends, or that can rule Friends, there's aspects to Mars, Pluto, Saturn, possibly the Moon, the North Node, and the South Node. You could throw in Mercury there as well, and a very wide orb between the Sun and Venus. But we can also say that Sun and Venus is moving towards that sextile with Uranus. It's at 9 degrees. If we progress the planets forward just a couple degrees, it's within orb of a sextile of Uranus. So if we want to do a study, some research on the actors and actresses of Friends, we probably will see, maybe I'll do that, but we've already seen 2 so far. We're 2 for 2 with a lot of emphasis on Uranus and or Aquarius. Now we can look at the Jupiter here squaring the node. So per evolutionary astrology, it's not an exact square, it's a loose square. It's moving towards that south node, so it's moving away from the north node. We can see that there is some emphasis on resolving this north node in Taurus of money and using the self as a resource. And you see the ruler of that north node is Venus. So this guy clearly has experience between Taurus and Scorpio. So I'm not going to get into exactly what that means. I'm going to leave it there for now. Stay tuned. If you're still with me, stay tuned. I'm going to do Jennifer Aniston and David Schwimmer as a couple, as if they were a couple. What would that synastry look like? What would the composite look like? So check that out, and I hope you have a great day.